Hello, everybody. My name is Big Soup or Blake from the Overwatch White team, and we are watching Overwatch Gold versus Concord in the Week 3 Overwatch NECC match. We're going to be starting on Nepal and starting on Sanctum, which is my personal favorite of the maps on Nepal because of the giant hole in the middle of the map. It makes, especially watching Runner, it makes it going to be really fun because you can just boot people into the map. And just from setup, looks like a pretty standard control point composition. I will say on Concord's side, busting out the Junkrat. I do not see Junkrat very often in games, but I personally love Junkrat, my second most played character. I don't know. I have a general love for just goofy characters. As we start this match, Who's James going to go for the teleport? An obvious play that Concord isn't going to be able to do, and Concord's just going to have to rely on that Lucio, which means that Center's going to get there faster. We start this fight here, shield instantly gets popped, but Galvanijo gets rocked and almost just dies there. Trying to maybe knock somebody off the map. That's a no-die down. Who's James is going to pick off Bastion. Just trying to fight. Can't fight around those Baptiste no-dies. Who's James is going to get rid of that no-die and then going to get a second one in the May. Tooney just trying to make sure everybody's healed up. But Galvanijo pushing forward, sending one back to go cap point. Pushing forward, setting up the turret so that they can't go through that little doorway. They're going to have to go around to the long ways and force a little bit of a flank. And just like that, they're all going to go around. Bastion is looking for something, but Galvanijo is going to push forward, going to forget that door for a second. Harp no longer has their getaway. Oh, that's the window from Baptiste, launching a ton of damage. Oh, the Flux disrupts the window, hurting a lot and killing Carp, but Who's James is going to take out Lucio. Who's James is going to also get Baptiste. Just getting rocked and taking all of Sigma's utility, but it doesn't matter. Who's James is going to clean that up. That's going to lead to about 30%, probably 50% before Concord's going to be able to cap point, if they can cap point. A lot of ults were used there, but that also means that a lot of ults are going to be coming up here. As we have Who's James ult, Galvanijo's looking to ult, and Runner will have that beat soon. As people move forward, Runner looking to keep everybody together with that speed boost. Galvanijo having to back up, gets the rock, gets stunned, and is able to maybe get out there. not a whole lot you can do against that Bastion turret mode, but Galvanijo does have ult and is most likely looking for a pull here. The window comes out from Concord, and Carp is going to get the Bastion. That's a massive pick. And Runner's going to throw that Mei off the map. Like I said, looking for the boops. Is going to get a second one in the form of the Lucio, which is really interesting. Lucio's really hard to boop off the map. Runner's going to go deep once more. And is going to, yeah, nice. Who's James is going to clean that up. Runner's going to retreat back, and Who's James is going to get the tank. That is a fantastic fight there for center, and it's gonna be really difficult for Concord to get point, because even if they do get point, they're gonna have it for the rest of the fight and overtime. Carp knows that Blizzard is gonna just absolutely halt their progress. They're gonna throw up the wall here. Looks like a little bit of a stall, not really throwing out any damage, but just trying to make sure that they can't move forward. Blocked off that Sigma. That Sigma's incredibly hurt and dies. Gonna throw out the freeze, and then that's center's beat from Runner. They're going to get one onto point to try and cap. Runner manages to not fall off, and Carp and Runner just cleaning up, everybody getting theirs, and a wonderful first map on Nepal that goes to center. Oh, that was a ton of really good fights back to back from both sides. That last one there maybe got a little bit bullied by the Mei freeze and stuff, but everybody has a little bit of fun, and I'm sure that Concord will have their opportunity to have a little bit of fun. Now we go on to, I think that this map is called Temple, but I could be wrong. And it doesn't look like there's going to be too much of a change, but Carp is going to shift onto that Bastion, meaning we're going to have a mirror match in almost every way, except for Galvanijo is going to be running that Orisa, whereas they're going to keep the Sigma, and it looks like they're actually going to change off of Bastion onto Sim. So they're going to have Sim Mei while we have Bastion Sim. Going to lead to that teleport. That's going to give them that early start. And that might have just been why they switched to Sim here, in order to rival their start. Looks like Center's going to get point there first, but really just fighting for dominance on a point that isn't unlocked yet. Galvanijo taking way too much damage. That's a ton of picks for Concord. Everybody having to back up using that Sim teleport. Without a tank, you can't really take over this fight, and this first fight is going to go to Concord, and so is the point. And maybe more as Concord just keeps pushing into spawn. Galvanijo's back, though, and is able to make some space up for his team. Trying to erase different parts. Going to TP into the sidelines. Oh, the wall. Just a ton of stalling momentum. That's going to leave Galvanijo just too exposed. A lot of fire just being rained down from that Bastion and the Orisa, but Symmetra is going to get Carp. Their Bastion is down, and now their tank is down again. They're going to have to back up. Who's James getting dropped as well. Both of the supports not going to be able to do anything without any sort of picks on the board. They have to just regroup and hope that next fight is going to be a lot better. A lot of these are really quick fights, and so it means that we're 2 fights in and they're only 30% on the board. So this is really good for center, that a lot of these fights are ending really quickly. But it's not great that they're not ending in their favor. Window comes out from Toonie, but that wall is going to halt it for a second. The Flux comes up and gets 3. Toonie's going to throw down the no-die, make sure that nobody gets got, but Who's James is going to get taken out anyway, just a little bit out of the range. Toonie going to get got himself by the Mei. Oh, really unfortunate. Galvanijo is going to drop off the map, trying to get that early death, that quick death. Carp is going to regroup, knows that Carp can probably get out. Ooh, the Mei wall. Ooh, the heal, really scary. A fantastic teleport from Who's James to get Carp out. That was really nice. Everybody moving back towards point. This kind of needs to be taken over now, or else this last fight is going to be a harrowing fight. Who's James looking to ult really quickly. Those turrets doing a lot of damage, but it doesn't really matter. Beat goes out. That means that they need to push forward into the window, and Toonie gets taken out by Symmetra. That window is just going to make it really hard to push, and Who's James is going to get taken out. It's kind of just Runner. It's just Runner and Carp here. Galvanijo is there, but is boxing with that Sigma. Carp and Runner get taken out. It's just Galvanijo. Galvanijo gets taken out. This is the last fight that's going to be on the board. Toonie is the only one that's even like within range, but there is a Symmetra, and the Symmetra can TP them on really quickly. Who's James has that ultimate and can maybe get something here. The teleport goes out. Whole team goes with it. That wall comes out. Two-way wall, so it's going to be really difficult for both teams to get a lot of damage here. I don't think that was freeze, but it kind of looked like freeze for a moment. Everybody pushing onto site. Carp did pop freeze, and Flux comes out grabbing Carp. Carp gets taken out, but Carp does not get taken out, taken up. Galvanijo and James get 2 using Galvanijo's ult. A lot of damage being thrown around, but this still is in Concord. Concord still owns the point here. And with that kill on Sigma, that's going to make it to where it's going to be 99% for Concord. Center has to hold down this point for the entire 100% and then possibly overtime if they can get a touch. And they most likely will, knowing their comp. They're going to have to be really conservative with these next few ults. Tooney has that window, but no one is really close. Maybe if Runner plays really aggressive, they could get a hold of Beat, but Beat isn't something that can really be used to hold down the fort for long periods of time. They all teleport up to the top and just raining down a ton of damage. Looks like they're going for a flank, similar to what Center was doing on the other side. Galvanijo is a little bit blocked off and is just taking a ton of damage from that May freeze. Seems to be a commonality in this fight here. Galvanijo might have to push forward just to keep them from getting onto site. Looks like that teleport's going to come out, and Who's James is going to maybe go for a little bit of a flank. There's the Beat. The Beat comes out, but Runner gets frozen. Runner gets no-died, but oh, that's unfortunate. Symmetra takes out Carp. Galvanijo is really hurt and is down a DPS. Galvanijo has that ultimate, but the Flux comes out, and there's a decent chance that he doesn't make it out of this, which he does not. Galvanijo and Runner fall. Tooney falls. Carp is the only... Oh, James is on point. Who's James is on point, gets taken out by the Lucio. Carp is the only one that can maybe stall this overtime and dies. Of course, going into 5 people. Nobody expects Carp to be able to win that fight. A really good fight. A really good set of fights, and I think that just... It was kind of a reflection of Sanctum, to where Center just had control. Had control for the entire first map, and there's nothing that they could really do. And while Center did win a really good fight and stall on second map, it was kind of just pretty similar. Just really big dominance, and I think Galvanijo is now sort of picking up on how important it is to be able to get out of those situations where he gets walled by that May. That May is sort of the downfall of Galvanijo, and Galvanijo is going to have to play around it. Whether that's pick or whether that's just play style or if they expect it, anything like that. But they really have to consider that going into this last map, because it is 1-to-1. Winner of this will take it all. Runner's going to boost everybody on. They still got that Sim Lucio, so it looks like they're going to get there pretty similar times. They go to different sides of the map, which means that Center is going to have a little bit of site control before anything starts here. That May wall comes out. Galvanijo just throwing up the shield, making sure that he doesn't take too much damage. Sigma throwing out his shield. This is just a battle of 2 really big shield tanks here. For the Symmetras, that's great on both teams because they're able to just charge and charge. Galvanijo getting stuck behind that wall. Really just terrifying for Galvanijo, having to basically 1v5 for a couple seconds while waiting for that May wall to go down. A ton of damage being thrown out by Carp. Carp taking out Lucio and May for Concord. Galvanijo throwing out the shield just so that maybe some damage can be reduced while the Tooney is able to heal everybody up. Center is in control of the site, and oh, Galvanijo is just pushing forward, trying to make sure that this isn't a fight that's going to happen in a crucial area. This is a fight that's going to happen on Center's terms and is going to happen in Concord's chokes. They sort of know that this fight for site isn't really working for them. Symmetra setting up those turrets onto site, knowing that if a fight does happen on site, that they might have a little bit of an advantage because he's already set up. Galvanijo has that shatter, and is most likely going to look for something big here. Oh, Tooney gets taken out by the Sigma. Really unfortunate, just hail of damage that was thrown there. Both May walls come out. Galvanijo doesn't know what's behind that wall and probably thinks it's the rest of the team. The shatter comes out, and Sigma blocks it with the shield. Their window comes out as well. Galvanijo goes down, as well as Who's James. Just Carp, Tooney, and Runner. Carp is throwing out the damage, but there's not really much that Carp can do 1v2. And then Runner is going to fall to the rock as well. That was a really nice 50% for Center. Incredibly even map here. With ults, Tooney and Carp are going to have their ults. Who's James is going to have theirs soon. And Beat is coming up any second now, but that is also reflected on Concord side. Everybody has ultimate except for Window. Those walls go up to stall, but that wasn't a super influential wall, which means that Galvanijo might be able to get something big here. They throw out May ult, but gets responded to with Runner's Beat. There's the gravity flux. There's not really much that anybody can do there. A no-die gets thrown out. Both no-dies down. That's big moves on both Baptistes. Galvanijo taking a ton of damage. That May wall just being his downfall once again. Everybody having to fight on site. They sort of have to try and make this fight work. They cannot back out. They're too deep. Both May gets taken out. Lucio gets taken out. There's Runner. There's Who's James. And just Tooney looking for a quick death. Making it going to be, if they win. If Center wins this next fight, then it's going to be about 60 to 60. really even final map here. If they don't win this fight, it's going to be for a really close final fight here, fighting for that overtime. Galvanijo just waiting for everybody to group up again. Runner has that boost and is going to try and boost everybody on site. Teleport goes out, screwing over the wall. The Symmetra wall comes out for center, and then the beat is the responded from Concord. They're able to just walk through that wall. Who's James gets taken out. Toonie gets taken out. The Sigma and this May are just able to divide and conquer here. Sigma takes out 3. May is able to get Galvanijo. Harp is the only one contesting, but will it really get them anywhere, especially with window up like that? Galvanijo having that ult, Runner looking for ult soon, and Carp within the next fight, if they can stall the fight long enough, will have that ultimate. May freeze can be really big, but it might just be responded to from another May freeze. Runner almost having beat means that Concord's May freeze may just get countered. And we won't really know until some ults get traded here. The wall goes up, which means that it's Galvanijo's turn to push. He's going to push on. He's got that shatter. Galvanijo may be looking for something. He's looking for a big group of teammates. That shield goes out. Shatter's behind the shield and is going to get one. He's going to pin the Sigma, slam against the wall, ooh, and go into the May freeze. That's going to be a little bit of damage for Galvanijo that he just simply did not need to take. Runner did beat there to try and help, but it's just not enough. Just not enough. And that'd mean it's going to be overtime unless I don't think anybody can get really a touch here. And that's going to be map 1 going to Concord. A very, very close first control point. Next is going to be, I always forget, I believe it's Escort. Could be wrong. Looking at this Sigma play. Starts with the Flux, and yeah, this was a moment where just a ton of stuff was being moved out. You can see Galvanijo trying to stall, but Galvanijo just getting thrown off the map a little bit there. An incredibly close first game. And we're going to wait for a minute while we wait for bans and stuff to go through, and we will see you guys in just a second. Welcome back, everybody, onto the second map. I once again am uncertain if this is push or escort because I don't know the names. This is hybrid. This is hybrid, I remember, because you cap the point and then you push the payload to the end of the map. This is Blizzard World. I think just a favorite of Center. I think that Center Gold really likes running that long distance poke here, and watch them pick a comp that just completely goes against what I thought, but it might happen. Yeah, Carp on that May just throwing icicles from across the map is quite a deadly little formula right there. I do see a ball pick for the other team, and I personally love ball. I love ball so much, but I mean, they're out. I don't think that they're going back to trade off that or anything. This is a really interesting pick. This is a pretty casual pick from Center running the the Sigma, the Baptiste, the Lucio, all that. Pretty casual. We run this a lot, but I don't think I've seen a lot of these picks from the other team just really played at all. And I'm very excited to see if they can make that work. They are going to be on defense at first, and center is going to be attacking. With just how long range they are, it looks like they might get a little bit disrupted with this ball and this Echo being in their face, especially that Tracer. Yeah, the Echo up in the air, but the Bastion, ooh, Who's James Bastion was just melting them, and it was a really close fight there. Ooh, just people circling around. Yeah, it seems that Concord's comp is just based around circling around you and not being able to do anything, and it's working a lot. And you really hurt having to back up here. Galvanijo is in really deep, and Sports are going to have to run in order to catch up with him. Just cannot quite get up there. Tuni taking a ton of damage. Galvanijo trying to set the pace, make some space, but it's just not working. Looks like they're going to go around to try and get up on their level, up to the roller coaster area. This would be a really nice spot if Who's James could get to advantage and turret mode here like this. Yes, of course. Just lasering all the flyers, making them go down to land, which is going to make it where Galvanijo can push on a point. Sucking in a lot of that Echo utility. The Nodai comes out. The Rock is going to throw back the Echo ultimate. The Echo did turn into Sigma, so they're going to be a little bit tankier than usual. Going to stand in for a real tank, whereas the ball is able to just run around everywhere. All teams are on site, but just everybody's taking so much damage. That is going to be a window from Tuni. Window from Tuni is going to make it to where just center's outputting a ton of damage and outputting a ton of healing. The ball goes down. Tuni trying to make sure everybody stays alive. Runner making sure that everybody stays together and on point. This was beautiful plays from supports. Who's James gets one. Tuni gets taken out. Galvanijo takes out the ball, pops the Graviton Flux, takes out the Mercy, and then that's going to lead to just, I believe, 2. Echo down. A delightful play right there. That was as fun as it was to watch the incredibly out of the box first fight. I had no idea what to expect there. It is still nice to see that center got a really nice early cap. They're going to push point while Who's James and Galvanijo are going to push forward. A handful of people, not just Who's James and Galvanijo, but they're going to try and make some space, make it to that point, just gets a free, easy push area. Ball might just stall that a little bit. Is that kind of a perk of playing a tank that specializes in flanking, is that you kind of don't have to stay with team and you can go terrorize that healer that you've put on the payload. But Carp is going to take out Ball. It doesn't matter at all. Mr. Business is no longer doing business. A ton of snipes from Carp. These icicle snipes are something that Carp is known for, and I'm always here for it. Who's James popping out that Bastion ultimate, chasing down a lot of those really low health enemies. Tuni falls, but Who's James and Carp are going to maybe clean it up a little bit, taking out Tracer and Kiriko. Who's James going to get that Mercy too. Both supports are down. There's nothing they can do. Carp going to get to a higher vantage point, maybe to get some headshots with those icicles. Especially with the Echo and the Mercy, Carp has to get high ground here in order to do a lot of damage. That Ball terrorizing, but sort of the downfall of any Ball player is just that they don't own that space. They're kind of just in it. And as we see right there, Ball just gets blown up. Who's James being given a window here to just terrorize everyone. Carp as well getting Echo, and Galvanijo cleaning up with that Kiriko. That was a beautiful window right there. Even though it was after turret mode, it didn't really matter, and Who's James was able to just annihilate anybody that he could see. Runner does have Beat coming up. Beat hasn't really been necessary for a lot of these pushes, but Runner is going to make sure that like any ults, like as we see Shatter maybe coming out soon, just going to beat for it. And I think that Runner's beats always get something. A lot of this fight is just stalemate after stalemate, just throwing up those shields. Nobody really getting anything here. May getting really hurt. Definitely a focus of the team. Galvanijo pops the Gravity Flux and is going to hurt Lucio a lot. Isn't going to quite kill Lucio. Carp is going to get May, though. The beat comes out. Beat comes out from Runner. And it looks like a beat might be coming up soon. That's just a ton of kills. That's a ton of kills. Galvanijo takes out the tank. Who's James takes out the subs. Carp takes out the DPS. It's almost like they practiced this or something. It's almost like this is their bread and butter. They love Blizzard World because they know that they can just abuse different teams. With that Bastion ult just doing a little bit of damage to start out this fight. The May ult coming out to freeze them, slow them down. Carp knows not to prioritize that tank because Galvanijo is going to take it. And lovely. Lovely. That was an absolutely devastating first half. But 3 minutes, 17 seconds on the clock. We are still going to Concord. Concord is still going to get an opportunity to switch sides. There's a chance here that they've practiced Blizzard World just as much as Gold, and they have an attack comp that just blows center out of the water. I think if they're running the same composition, it won't go super well because, as we know, center sort of just had that composition locked down. It threw him a little bit of curveball at the beginning. That ball and the Echo just sort of splitting their vision too many directions. But it seems they've gotten a handle on it, as well as if they're on attack, that means that they're going to have to be compressed onto that payload and not the other way around. We go back to what looks like a pretty normal comp with a Mei, a Sigma, a Bap, Bastion, and a Lucio. Mirror matches, if I've ever seen one.
If you know what you're looking for,
I think that for this half, Who's James is going to be kind of a...
How do you inquire?
Bless you. Who's James is going to be a little bit of a terrorizer here, as Bastion is always just a little bit better on defense. This first point is going to be really difficult for Concord to get, simply because this is, like I said, a comp that is tried and true, bread and butter, practiced in and day out from center. Concord is going to get let out, and center does play really close to point, so it's going to give him a lot of space here, but that space tends to not really matter because a ton of this poke is just being let loose. They all go for a little bit of a side flank, expecting center to be holding close. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, and they get a couple inches of space for about 30 seconds of time. Not a great trade, but they didn't really know. Just a ton of damage being traded here. The Rock goes out and takes out the Sigma. Galvanijo just getting really slowed. Who's James not able to really use that turret mode to its full potential. A lot of rocks being thrown. Carp got dazed. Everybody's still really full health. Runner making sure that there's no flanks, and of course there are some flanks. The walls go out, blocking people off. The shields go out in order to block the damage. This is a really even fight here. The two sucks just standing in front of each other. The shields go out, the no-dies go out. There's the Maywalt. There's a window from Concord. It's going to give them a little bit of advantage here. They're going to get Runner and Carp and Who's James. That's going to lead to them getting a team wipe really early on in this. And they actually have the lead here so far because they got that first point much faster than Center Gold was able to get that first point. That lead can very much be lost as the game goes on, but it's just to note that just because that was a really nice first half for Center, it doesn't mean that you should count Concord out. Concord still has a really nice chance. Just as I say that, Who's James takes out the Mei for an absolutely devastating nade. That was a really nice nade. Oh, Sigma just getting lasered. Who's James having to hold back that turret mode, and it might lead to the Sigma being able to get out. Who's James has that ultimate and is going to throw that down, hitting the Bastion in his ultimate. Who's James gets Baptiste, and Galvanijo is going to get Sigma. Runner's going to get that enemy Bastion. Runner's going to boop this Mei back into the team. Not much you can really do as a Mei stuck in ice, just being surrounded. It's quite a menacing picture. Looking at ults. A lot of these ults are coming up. 3 ults. Not the same exact ults, but both Fluxes, both Blizzards are going to be coming out in this next fight. Maybe not all at the same time. That would not be great, but that damage being traded. This might just go to what Sigma ults first, and it's going to be... Oh, did the Rock hit? I believe the Rock did hit. That was lovely from Galvanijo. Galvanijo just getting a ton of damage in that Blizzard in the little blind spot right there. Nobody was really looking at him. Galvanijo does fall, but gets 2 on his way out. Tooney falls as well. Who's James getting a ton of damage, but knows he has to back out. Can't quite get out. Everybody's just backing up. Regroup. See what they can't do next fight. I think that was a really nice first little fight there, and it sucks that Center lost, but there's still plenty of round to go. Galvanijo did not pop their ult there. Carp did, but it's not something that's going to be super detrimental, as it did lead to a couple kills. That beat goes out from Runner. No, that's not beat. That's just suck health. My mistake. The window goes out from Tooney. Window goes out from Tooney. Galvanijo incredibly hurt here. They're going to heal through. Carp takes out the Bastion. That fight is being taken on point now. Sigma just knows, give me a quick death. And Center knows to counter that with a stagger. It was a really nice stagger, and it's going to make it to where it's just going to take a little bit more time for Concord to get their bearings back. Who's James and Runner about to get their ultimate here. Galvanijo still has that flux. Not really a moment that I've seen that Galvanijo could have popped that out, especially with point being so central and them not really playing on point for that last fight. That fight is going to happen here, and that is the 5-man flux. A beautiful flux, but he does get stunned out of it, to be expected from Sigmas. There's the window coming out with the turret mode. Galvanijo taking a ton of damage, but able to suck a ton of that damage in return. Tooney making sure Galvanijo stays healthy, making sure that point stays in our possession. They're going to drop from up top. Runner has that beat, and Bastion ultimate comes out, goes up onto the top, and is terrorizing those supports. There's not much that Tetsu can do there, and Bastion's going to fall. Who's James got that. Runner is going to get Bastion. They're just going to chase these guys down. Going to chase down Runner. James is going to get May as well, though. Oh, the wall comes out blocking both Lucio and Sigma. A beautiful little play there. It's going to lead to Galvanijo's 5k kill streak. But Galvanijo is a little bit upset that 5-man flux, nothing was able to become of it because of Rock. But, I mean, live by the Sigma, die by the Sigma, you're going to get rocked. Lovely little nade flying out into space. This next fight, it looks like they're going to go down a little bit. Not super expected by center, but center does have high ground just because of where they were holding. They're pushing onto point. Galvanijo instantly getting Bastion. A wonderful pick. They're gonna have to play incredibly carefully if they want to take this from center. Galvanijo drops down. I don't know if that was super intended. The rock goes out, whiffs Lucio. May is behind. May throws out that freeze. Galvanijo just outside of the no-die. Not much that Galvanijo can do. Oh, who's James terrorizing people, but Mail on Bastion, terrorizing people in return. A lot of trades going out. Tank is still for Concord, and Tank is just a big player. Tank really hurt, though. Who's James doesn't care. Who's James staggering a little bit, and that's going to lead to 10-player kill streak for Who's James, and that's going to lead to another decent chunk of time in center's favor. While payload is close, they basically... Concord really only has one fight here. And Galvanijo is going to have that flux back. So is Mr. Business. Mr. Business might just flux rock and then flux in return. I think that this is a commonplace for Galvanijo to hit these rocks and be hitting rocks. But that's really the only ult that we're looking at really soon. Who's James does have ult pretty quickly. Flux comes out, grabs Who's James, giving a little bit of an advantage point. It's dropped down. That turret mode not getting a lot, but the flux giving him a little bit of a higher point. Galvanijo has that flux. A lot of them are grouped. Galvanijo may be looking for this right here. No, he's going to back up, regroup with James. Who's James having to back up with that nade. Who's James popping ult behind cover. The flux going out, grabbing Lucio, killing Lucio. A wonderful pick. The beat goes out from Runner, and the rock takes out Bastion. Just everybody bullying the Sigma. The window came out from Concord, and they just couldn't do anything with it. They couldn't do anything just because of how abusive that center was being in that particular fight. Baptiste did get Bastion, but that was the only one. A wonderful map that's going to go to center. That's going to make it a 1-1, I believe. Did they won the previous one? They won control point? Fantastic. Tetsu got this play of the game. Let's see what this play of the game is. Next map is going to be Flashpoint. Just a ton of healing going out. The window goes out. Yes, this is the fight that got them control of that first point. That really quick first point that put them ahead. That was a really nice window that got a lot there. All right, we'll see everybody in just a second for the Flashpoint. Most likely New Junk City. Welcome, everybody. I was wrong. While I was not wrong about it being Flashpoint, everybody knows that third map is Flashpoint because everybody loves Flashpoint. I was wrong about which map. There are only two, and my team usually plays on New Junk City, and this map is Servasa, which Gold usually plays on. I do believe that Gold runs a pretty similar comp, Galvanijo on the Sigma, Carp on the May, but they might switch it up a little bit here. Of course, Runner on that Lucio. I think Runner on Lucio is one of the strongest picks that Center has just across all of the Overwatch players is Runner on that Lucio. Yeah, looking at pretty similar comps. In fact, mirror matches on both teams of the Lucio, Bastion, May, Baptiste, and Lucio. I said Lucio twice. And Sigma. Pretty standard, especially for Center and especially for Flashpoint. Just having that Bastion Lucio burst is really nice, especially into Sigma. They're going to boost onto these points. They're going to get there at about the same time, simply because they're both running really similar comps. Whoever gets this first site is really going to be up to which DPS can get that pick first. The wall goes up and is going to block off a little bit of progress, but not too much. Galvanijo taking a ton of damage. Carp is going to push forward. Ooh, the rock onto Mail. That was disgusting on that Bastion. And Who's James getting another one. That's going to make it a 5v3 for Center. This is heavily in Center's favor. They're going to push on a point here. Just waiting for that ice to freeze, or ice to melt. May goes down, just looking to bully and maybe stagger the Sigma a little bit. Sigma goes down. That's first point going to go to Center. A lovely first point with a lovely stagger as well. Oh, I didn't notice that. Thank you for pointing that out. Concord did get 20%. And in Flashpoint, where the percentages go by really fast, that 20% might give them a boost if they are able to cap later on in this fight. So as we see, it's going to be at least 50 by the time Concord is going to be able to even get to site. Sort of the detriment of Flashpoint is that a lot of these fights have to happen fast. Galvanijo taking a ton of poke and is having to back up a little bit, but is going to get countered with that window. That window's coming out. Is going to get a pick on that Lucio. Tooney is able to take out the May. Sigma separated from his team. They're going to stagger that Sigma a little bit. Or maybe not even stagger, just look for the kill. See Runner and Who's James just running for it. Runner able to get it. Back on the point. And that's already to 80%. While that 20% could have been really big, they just weren't able to get that fight. They weren't able to get that fight, and it's going to make it to where this first point of a possible 5 is going to go in Center's favor. Looks like next we are going to... I don't know the names of the specific points, but I do believe it tells you. As we go forward, everybody just speeding. Not looking at point necessarily, looking to maybe cut them off. Ooh, they're in the window. In the window, Who's James pops that ultimate, knowing that the window in the wall... Nice. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. I really hope that's played just so that we can admire that one more time. They knew that they were going to all be in that hall, and that hall is an awful place to be if Bastion ult is on the board. That is going to mean that one ult down for Center, but it's not going to be too detrimental, especially whenever that led to a team wipe. Galvanijo having this flux might use it to just stall point here. Galvanijo a little bit too hurt, probably not going to want to push that. They're going to push onto the right here. Throws the rock, misses. This fight is really split here. The flux comes out. He's going to throw a ton of damage. Not going to get anybody for it. Who's James is going to get Bastion. Who's James is going to get Bastion here. Carp throws out the freeze and is going to get taken out in response because that window. Like, even if you're frozen, the little bullets that you are getting out are going to be damage boosted. But Runner doesn't care. Runner's going to take out that Baptiste. Is going to get on a point, going to contest that for as long as possible. Knows that he's going to die and knows that just every percent counts on Flashpoint. And it's stalling for a really long time. That's going to make it to where it's 70. Yep, 70, called it. Center is going to have 70%. If they win one more fight, that point's theirs. No matter what. They just have to ensure that these next ultimates go into winning that fight. A lot of ultimates were popped there with Blizzard and Galvanijo's Flux. But Tooney still has that window. Mail taken out by Runner. That's a fantastic first pick. Looks like Runner's going to push onto this site. Beat isn't really an option here. The window goes out. They're going to be able to play off that window as everybody pushes on a site. The Blizzard to counter the window, but it's not going to get anybody because Runner is just terrorizing them. Galvanijo takes out the Lucio as Toonie is just throwing in healing and damage. Bastion ult comes out from Concord and takes out Galvanijo, but I don't think that they can really do anything else. I will say that Mayfreeze was a really nice stall, but I don't think it's going to matter. This 30% is going to go by really quickly, and it's going to go by in Center's favor. The stagger, especially with the May is not going to get to this fight. May is going to get to this fight if they're able to push it to OT and then stall for long enough. Harp throws up the wall, knowing that seconds are precious. Throwing out maybe a couple icicles to get a lucky headshot. That's 99. Does Bastion get on? The runner with the boop. Runner with the boop, able to take that out. Mail gets taken out again. The rock throwing them to safety. Runner boosting into everybody. That's Baptiste down. Wants the Sigma really bad. Is gonna sick his team on the Sigma and the Lucio. It's another nice little set of kills for Center here. If Center gets one more point, that means that Center will win Flashpoint. We will move on to what I believe is Escort. This next point is I'm being told that it is push. Being told by credible sources that it is push. I honestly, I never remember. What the names are. As soon as this point, getting a little bit shot in the back. Who's James has his ultimate. Who's James just taking a little bit too much poke. Oh, Carp getting severed from the team. Really unfortunate getting picked here. This fight happening not even on point, just on the way to point. Galvanijo popping ultimate and getting Lucio. That's really it. That runner on point. A hilarious little pan to Runner. Runner is gonna cap and get that first 20-ish% for Center. Like I said, that initial, it looks like it's gonna be about 15. That initial 15% can still go a long ways. With 15 being just a handful of seconds, that means that that's gonna be a handful of seconds that Concord doesn't have if Center's able to retake control here. Who's James gonna melt that down? The window is out, so Who's James is gonna have to fight at a different, weirder angle. The flux comes up, but Runner is gonna beat and make sure that nobody's gonna die from it. Runner just terrorizing this Bastion, making sure that Bastion's not gonna be able to hit any of those shots, boosting around. Two did fall. Carp and Toonie have fallen. That Bastion ult comes out. Galvanijo just trying to maybe save James, not quite able to. Sigma's incredibly hurt. This could go in Galvanijo's favor. Oh, but just having a Baptiste and a Lucio on your side is going to make it to where it's going to be hard to lose any fight. Galvanijo getting that little bit of a staggered death, 70% already. It looks like this point will go into Concord's favor if Center can't win this really fast next fight here. And it looks like that Center knows that they don't have time. They don't have time, especially with Runner being in the back and just running in to have one more fight that if they lose will give Concord an advantage on the next point. They know that they should just prioritize. There's no reason that this one should be fought. They should just prioritize the next point. Runner keeping everybody grouped up. Toonie was falling a little bit behind. Toonie has that window. That window in turret mode, always a deadly combination that could lead to something massive. Point isn't unlocked yet, so this fight right here doesn't need to happen. The window goes out. Everybody pushing forward, but the Blizzard, unfortunate that the window just gets countered by that Blizzard. 3 go down. That is going to be Mail's ultimate on Bastion. Carp on point, not really able to do much about that. A rough fight right there, but I think that Center should feel safe knowing that even if they lose this fight, they lose the next one, and God forbid they lose the third one, there's still an entirely other point. There's still an entirely fifth point that they'll be able to contest for. But I think that they're going to look to end this here. With the flux going up, grabbing a handful of them, looks like 3, slamming them down, is going to maybe get Galvanijo. The Blizzard comes out. Nice. That freeze getting a ton of damage. A little bit of the May off there, the freeze, or the ice cube, able to sever herself. That's a fantastic little fight there. Found myself stumbling a little bit because all of May's ultimates are just freeze. They freeze themselves, they freeze the enemies, they freeze everything. But that's going to make it to where this is going to go into Center's hands. Center pushing it to 30 or I guess 20, and on their way to 30 already. They're all holding left because they think that the enemy team, Concord, is going to push onto left, and they're right. That Bastion turret comes out and is just doing a ton of damage. The Mei wall's blocking, but just, oh, the Flux picks up a lot of the team, but the beat comes out to save. Fantastic beat by Runner. Nice. Sigma out. Runner takes out Sigma, but Galvanizo is down. They're going to have to do this without a tank. Carp takes out Mei, and nice. Carp is going to take out Runner. Carp is going to take out Bastion. Carp is going to take out Baptiste. A lovely, just quadra kill, team kill for Carp. That was beautiful right there. Started off with a tank kill for both sides, and then a ton of ults being traded, and Carp just comes out on top. Carp comes out on top, as he always does. Carp is going to have Blizzard, too. Carp is going to have Blizzard going into the next fight, simply because of the amount of damage that was just thrown out there. Blizzard comes out, is going to probably freeze this Mei. The ice, nice. Mei down, Sigma down, or Sigma frozen, not down. Oh, rough. The nade is going to get Carp, but Who's James is going to get another pick with that nade. Flashpoint is going to go into Center's favor. That makes it 2-1. Next time, we are going to push a lovely little map. Let's see. I believe this is going to be the 4K from Carp, and I'm going to be a little upset if it isn't. It isn't. This is going to be the team wipe that Who's James had. Yes, the ultimate into the hallway. Just a really rough thing there. You can't really do much about that. A nice little goofy thing. Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys in just a second whenever we decide what map we're going to. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to New Queen Street. This is going to be our push map. I don't know if I should describe the goal of this one. Just have the robot escort the little goofy robot, and he's going to push these little barricades. If you push the barricade to the enemy spawn, then you win. Love the little barricades. We for this entire series are going to be red, so we are going to want to push the blue barricade. It's a little bit wacky, a little bit confusing, but I believe we want to push the blue barricade. We'll find out in a couple seconds. No, looks like I'm wrong. Looks like I'm a big fat stinky idiot. Looks like I'm just a little bit too silly for my own good. Bread and butter. we go to our bread and butter comp where we've got that Bastion, got Runner on Lucio, the Toonie on Baptiste. That's what I meant to say. Pretty standard. But a Zarya pick. Zarya and Sojourn. Zarya and Sojourn instead of the Bastion Sigma. A little bit different plays here. Zarya into that Sigma might be what they need. Runner just boosting everybody. Ooh, Galvanizo getting walled off. Galvanizo having to fend for themselves, but what can you do against the Zarya bubble? The no-die comes out and saves Galvanizo. That was a fantastic no-die from Toonie. A lot of the damage being traded, but that bubble, you can't do much. Whenever you run the bubble, there's not much else you can do. Galvanizo getting 2 there. Nice. The robot being pushed. Who's James getting Lucio. There's nothing you can do after you just lost your tank and a Bastion has decided that you're not gonna be around anymore. There's nothing you can do. Just chasing you down, this big bulky robot. Galvanijo and is gonna have to focus on when to use the vortex, because if used at an incorrect time, as we saw previously, that could mean his detriment. Gonna be some bubbles coming out. They know that they can push a little bit more frivolously here. Maywall coming out, the shield's going out. Everybody slowed a little bit, but May is gonna get taken out as well. The no die down. Who's James just terrorizing here, deciding to push forward with that boost, keeping them stuck in that room, and that's gonna be the checkpoint for center. Runner just making sure that everybody's boosted and speeding around. Nobody can get hit. Nice. Who's James getting Lucio out. Toonie does have that window, but Carp doesn't need it. Carp is going to take out Bastion. The nade pops off into space. I'm sure that's a little bit disheartening. That's going to be Toonie and Who's James out of this fight. And there's going to be Runner. It looks like this fight is going to go in Concord's favor. But Galvanijo and Carp stalling, Carp falling, and finally Galvanijo is going to get staggered a little bit there. A fantastic first little push there. And that's going to lead to every ult up. Every ult on center's team is up. I will say Vortex, or not Vortex, Graviton Surge. Graviton Surge got eaten. I'm not quite sure when. I didn't see it get popped, but who knows? Runner has this beat to initiate or to use defensively. I think to initiate would be a really fun move here. Ooh, the Carp walling off the window. The beat to push onto that Zarya. They know that they can sort of just abuse this here. Both beats have come out from both teams. They're just there's nothing that you can do. Sojourn popped their overclock there as well. That's a ton of ults. That's 3 ults for Concord and 3 ults for center. Leaving Who's James' ult and Galvanijo's ult don't really combo very well. However, I think that both don't really need to combo. They're sort of masters at their own craft with those ults. Who's James getting a ton of damage out. That ult popping out. I said that they can't really combo it there, but it looks like they're trying. Who's James managing to getting the Zarya and getting the Mei as well. They push forward, trying to just abuse those supports. Knows to pick off the Sojourn. The Rock, oh, weaves in between them. That would have been very fun. Runner getting the Lucio, Galvanijo getting the Baptiste, pushing them all the way to spawn. There's not much that they can do here, especially with their tank dying in such an unfortunate way right there. Bot is being pushed up this hill. It just has to get to about to where that tree is right there, and that's going to be the series for center. Concord has to get control here. They have to re-get control of this robot, and if now is going to be a time to do it, their spawn being right there. Also the switch onto Reaper. Switch onto Reaper where Sojourn was. Ooh, Reaper getting Who's James. Knowing that like these tanky DPS and the tank themselves is such a problem, that Reaper's a fantastic pick. Reaper getting Toonie as well. Oh, there's not much the card can do here. What can you do against a bubbled Reaper? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this Reaper may be the start of a little bit of a map-wide push. Map-wide push would start with maybe a Blossom, but you know, anything can happen. I think that these ults are all really similarly timed for center. Carp having to duck under the street lamp. Kind of funny. Ooh, they go around the bus where Carp is not able to shoot at them. Reaper getting Toonie. That's going to be Graviton Surge, but it gets responded to by Runner's Beat. Oh, the Death Blossom getting Galvanijo. As we thought, Reaper might be a problem. Reaper might be a problem here, especially with just the composition of how Reaper can get in the back, and Bastion is just super immobile. Galvanijo is able to get in people's faces, but are you going to get in the face of a Reaper as a tank? You know. Ooh, Carp getting that freeze just in time. Sees the Reaper, has Blizzard, looking for that Blizzard, throws the Blizzard out. Ooh, not quite getting anybody for it, but it is going to give them a ton of space. That wall was really nice as Robot just missed it. That is going to be Blizzard for Concord as well. Who's James pops out the ultimate, knowing that they're all really compressed here, not getting anything for it. Galvanijo falling. That's very unfortunate. Toonie does get Reaper. Toonie does finally get a kill on that Reaper, stopping their little train of death. Bubble's coming out. Runner knows that he can be a little bit aggressive here because of the bubble. Beating everybody back to the fight, making sure that these fights are happening really quickly and the downtime between them is very short. Checkpoint is there. Concord just has to give control here. They have to give control because they can't just sit there and idly fight without making progress. Flux is on the board. Galvanijo is probably looking for it, but not quite here. There's too many walls, and the team wouldn't really be able to play off that. They all went up top. I wonder if Galvanijo will notice and will be able to get like a nice 4-man. Ooh, the Graviton Surge. Throws down the Reaper. Picks up the Reaper. Maybe the Wraith form will last long enough, but the bubble saves him. Doesn't matter. Galvanijo is going to ensure that that Reaper goes down. Just a little battle between the tanks. They almost counter each other, and so they're staying pretty even, especially with both supports still alive on both sides. A fight just happening behind Robot. Galvanijo is opting to help the fight instead of push the Robot. A pretty strong play, and that is going to be Tetsu's Baptiste ult. Going to be the window for Concord. The rock goes out, the beat goes out, and is going to stop the Reaper dead in his tracks. That was really nice. Reaper has been a very big problem in the last few fights. Harp got that Reaper, and can they get anything else? Who's James is going to get that May, but it does look like Baptiste is going to take out Carp. Carp will not be here for the next fight. Neither will Toonie. It is just going to be, it's going to be Runner and Galvanijo here. And it looks like Galvanijo is maybe a little bit of a lost cause. Going to get staggered a little bit, but not too bad. Runner dying a quick death as well. 2 minutes, and with Concord having pushed the bot up to the first checkpoint, this is pretty even. This is a pretty even fight here. If center were to gain control right now, it would maybe be really in center's favor, but they're gonna have to play some big moves here in order for that to happen. Just terrorizing them from this room up at the top. They know that Reaper's going around for the flank, throwing out the shield to make sure that Graviton Surge isn't being able to be used. Death Blossom comes out. Nice. Who's James getting the Death Blossom? Rock's going out, but Galvanijo just taking a ton of damage from that Blizzard. Who's James throwing that Bastion ultimate into the room, not quite getting anything. Runner is going to fall. But Who's James is going to get Zarya. Galvanijo is going to fall. Nice. A nice solid 4K. Nice solid 4K for Who's James. They're going to get control of that robot. Concord's not going to be able to push that at all out of that fight. I think maybe a few inches, but really nothing too great. This fight is going to take place at around the center's first checkpoint. And not even. They got back incredibly quickly. With no staggers, that's almost to be expected. A minute left on the clock. These last few fights are going to be incredibly influential. Reaper goes down. Galvanijo has that flux and is looking for it here. Sees that there's 3 people really grouped, and maybe they can get a nice flux. Knows that there's one behind. Rock goes out and is going to whiff, but it doesn't really matter. Having to focus on the Sojourn behind. Beat goes out. Harp gets one, and then Beat goes out. Oh, unfortunate. Galvanijo getting taken out by the Sojourn. Or not Sojourn, Zarya. Who's James having to back up here? Gonna burst now that the bubble's down. Not gonna get anything for it. And is gonna actually back up as to not get bursted themselves by that Sojourn. Runner having to regroup everybody, make sure Galvanijo's here for the fight. Has that beat. Has the Blizzard, has the Flux. This could be really big, just throwing ults to stall here for the next 5 seconds. If they can just get control of Robot, they win. If they can just get control of Robot, it ends overtime and center wins. The beat goes out in order to take away the Graviton Flux. Or not Graviton Flux. The Flux comes out after the Graviton and the beat. Isn't going to quite get a lot, but the Zarya gets rocked. Everybody gets frozen. Harp looking for a nice little headshot here to end the round.